I'm going to do a little video here to show you guys a lot of questions I've had regarding the Australian Flow Hive. For the critics out there that don't like this type of hive, style of hive, because they want to spread bad juju and bad information because they actually don't know what they're talking about, or they just don't like progression in production. They want to stick to the old school. But I'll tell you, it's, as a kid growing up, I was able to work on a dairy farm for my aunt and uncle, and they had a parlor, and that was all machine driven. You weren't sitting on a stool with a bucket anymore. And it's production. It's about being able to produce what you need for society, and as long as it's done safely, it's really no issue with it. But you're gonna have haters out there. But this is the actual Flow Hive frame, and you'll see, if I can get it at an angle, if you can tell that the comb itself is not smooth and it's not even. So the bees actually have to work on making that smooth, and they'll actually build wax onto the comb, bringing it out smooth, which they've done up top. And you can see that it's oblonged a little bit, so they're actually working on it. And then if you go over here into the corner, they've actually capped some off. So they're starting to produce the honey. They're starting to pull moisture out of it, and once it gets to a moisture level, then they go ahead and cap it off, saying that it's ready to save for them in the future. And they usually it's being worked on along the outer edges, coming down to this edge. Up top here, there's a little bit capped off, and then going down around the bottom. And this is one of the center frames, so they're actually working on it. You can see down here, hopefully there's some shiny liquid inside, and that's them actually putting the honey into the frame cell itself. And then I'll set this over here to the side and let you get a look of inside the box and the bees. So for those that think that the Flow Hive is a lazy way of producing honey and that you do not have to manage your hives, you still manage your hives just like you would any other box. I've decided to have both. I want to have a couple of the Flow Hives, and I want to have a couple of the traditional hives so I can use the wax. My wife had talked about trying to make some of the stuff with it, with candles, lipstick, or not lipstick, but chapstick, salve, and stuff like that. So what I've done with these white boxes, the skinnier white box is the traditional super, and I'm going to be able to produce honey out of those with the wax also. So I'm going to have both, and that's that there. The top box here is actually the super, and then the bottom box is the hive body. So I'm going to be doing both. And you also can stack these. You can use the Australian hive for one, and then you can take one of the traditional hives and put it underneath, put it on top, whichever way you want to do it. And you can mix and match it if you want to mess with the wax itself, or if you just want to do honey. These are pretty expensive to start with. I did it so I could get into learning the bees. But I don't ever have to buy frames anymore. This did come with the full hive ready to work. I just needed to put bees in it. But now that I've got some knowledge behind my bees, if I want to do any of the Flow Hive stuff, I can buy just the frames itself and configure my hive body, my traditional boxes, to take these frames, and then I don't have to buy frames anymore. And in the longevity, there's quite a bit of money in building a hive and the supers with all your frames and equipment that you need. So minus one of the prices of the fees and the costs of having to redo your frames whenever you wear out, there are options of using foundation to where you don't have to reuse them really. You can scrape them out, or you don't use them at all, and people just use the wax and they don't use the foundations, but you still have the frames, and they last a pretty good while. But producing honey, you don't have to go back to the honey hut or your barn to be able to process your honey. I'll be able to produce the honey out of these hives right out here in the field and bottle it up and not worry about it. But it's to each his own. There's pros and cons to everything, so it's just whatever you want to do, and I'm doing it as a hobby, so why not try some new stuff and just see how things work out there. But thanks for the questions, and appreciate you guys that are watching my videos. Thank you.